further ado, why don't you guys help me welcome Mr. Virgil Reed from Reed Security. Why don't we start a little bit about your story, where you came from, but right from the beginning, we talked about a bit. You started in 2000, but before that you were working for another security company.
You bet.
You took that journey and thought, I want to do this on my own. I think I can. I work hard. I think that's where the business is coming from. So why don't you start from there? You started your business, but start where you decided to start your business.
All right. So my background is in sales. I'm not really a technician. So my big start in Saskatoon was working for Future Shop. So whatever you have for conceptions or misconceptions about Future Shop, that's probably the best place you could ever get trained to do sales. They had quite a training program. So really I started from nothing. I had to cold call them 3 times just to get a job at Future Shop. It wasn't going so well. We lived in Yorkton at the time, and they would make promises to me to come up for an interview with the manager, only to drive 3.5 hours to find out he's not there today. You know, lip service. So I mean, what did I do? I needed a job. I went for a 3rd time, finally got that job. I did well at Future Shop using their training program, and what do you know? Back in 1996 when I started, that's when we finally got dial-up internet. So I mean, there was a reason to buy computers. Back at that time too, that would be the time where you would start seeing video on the screen. So that was another cool reason. Computers back then, I think they were averaging about $4,000 for, I think it was a Pentium.
Yeah.
So that's where I started in Saskatoon. But I did well enough where, you know, just the retail was not cut out for me. It's who wants to do retail anyways. So I worked there for about 1.5 years. Found a job in the paper for, I don't want to mention the company's name, but another security company that was hiring for a customer service rep. Of course, I don't know what customer service was, but I did like that it was Monday to Friday, and the base salary was equivalent to what I was making in commission at Future Shop. So I mean, I had to cut my teeth. You know, over the next 1.5 years, I didn't get that job. The customer service position I didn't get. Yeah, I didn't. I was second.
Yeah.
But because I'm determined, again, after about 1 year, decided, hey, there's another ad in the paper. I applied to it and I got the job as a commercial rep. I had a really good boss at the time. Apparently there was 30 people who applied for the job. The interview was almost 3 hours. And you know, they had actually promised the job as a commercial sales rep to one of the long-term technicians. But I went in there and you know, the boss actually screened me for 3 hours. And in the end, he said, you got the job. And he says, you know why? And I said, I don't really know why, but I'm listening. He says, because you polished your shoes. That's the only guy that came in out of 30 people who polished their shoes. So I mean, you did well on the interview, but that's why I learned the small things that make a difference.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, you know, I worked my way up at the other company. Basically there, you know, they didn't really have a training program, so, you know, they brought me in because I had this track record in sales. But as far as a training program, it was, you know, a well-established company at the time. It was the year 2000, or pardon me, 1998. And, you know, they brought me in. It was a new sales job that they created because they had so much business.
Yeah.
So I got in there and really didn't do so good. You know, they didn't train you. So, I mean, what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to, I guess, manufacture business out of nothing. I came from retail. I'm used to guys coming into the store, and once you're in, we have an opportunity to, you know, discuss your needs. But as far as like going to look for business or, you know, create business, no idea. So anyways, I got through that hump. You know, one of the managers took me aside and said, why don't you try this program? I used the program, was able to generate business. So over the next 2 years, I worked at that company that you mentioned.
Yeah.
And you know what, it just was never enough. So I mean, here it is, a big corporation, probably 100 sales reps across Canada. And you know, my boss says to me, if you were in Toronto you'd be one of the best sales reps in the country, be top 5. But because you're in Saskatoon, it's a new position. Unfortunately, you're always going to hit 60% of your production quota. And this company, that's what they did, is they put the quota, every rep in Canada was the same. So me in Saskatoon, I had to try to, make the production that somebody in Calgary could do. And, back in the year 1998,
Yeah.
it wasn't that happening in Saskatoon. And, after doing that for 2 years, that's where I kind of decided, I think I can do it better. I don't think that you guys have it right. I don't like the way that you guys are too corporate, and I don't like your policies, and I just didn't feel like I fit in. And so it was March of 2000, literally, it was probably the last few days of February, I came to this conclusion that I don't fit, and the values that you have don't match mine. And so that's when I made a decision to become an entrepreneur. I mean, throughout my history, even going back to Future Shop, I would read Profit Magazine, Canadian Business, Money Sense, whatever you could read. I just enjoyed reading it, and I knew I had this spirit within me. But at the time, I should mention, I was 25. So sometimes your perceptions of what you think versus how it is, completely different, right? Mm-hmm. So I go out and start my business. And I had a relationship with a business partner who had invested into our company, and they believed in me, and they had told me, if you ever want to go out on your own, that I would support you as an angel investor, and that's what happened when I started. Now, when I left the other company, my idea was that 90% of my success was going to be because of me and my effort. And I worked hard for that company, and I generated business. But when we opened that business in the year 2000, very quickly we realized it actually wasn't my effort. It was actually the brand recognition was the reason for the success. Mm. So can you imagine this? Year 2000, I'm young, don't have a lot of debt at the time, so I thought that's a good time to start. But I can tell you this, that 90 days in, what we did for a business plan versus what it actually was about 30%. So at that time, when you had that moment of... you have that moment where you have to rejuggle, right? Like, what are you going to do? It's either shut it down or it's go full speed ahead. And so at that time, I started out of the gate with a staff of 7. And I had to make some very hard choices. I had some friends that had left their jobs to come and follow me and start my business. And like I said, 90 days in, if I didn't make some drastic changes, we wouldn't be around. So that was really the first time where I learned what being an entrepreneur was all about. It was scary. It had that feeling in your stomach that this isn't exactly what I had in mind.
Yeah, and that's kind of the common story we have with all of the entrepreneurs, right? Like, people in the room have this idea that guys that own their business or ladies that own their own business, it's nothing but money and holidays. You learned that pretty quick. It's about a bit more than money and holidays. It's about a lot of hard work, some sacrifice, and tough decisions. So, 7 people, business isn't doing good, you're 30%. Where are you going from there?
Well, at that point, we had made some decent deals. So, I mean, I don't know if anyone's ever started a business without a business license, but that's what we did. I mean, did you have to really have one? But we did. And the first people who signed contracts, well, those weren't really official, but we had, it was like a prototype, and I believed in what we could do. It was just a matter of getting the proper paperwork and licensing. Yeah. And within 10 days, it was all legitimate, and So those first 10 customers who signed up, well, they don't really have a contract. So, anyways, it was 90 days in, and luckily, my whole background was commercial sales, and I worked pretty hard. And at that 90-day point, we were fortunate enough to get some good stable jobs that would cover us through. That's when I learned the second lesson, which was don't count your chickens before they hatch, because just because you get that nice big order, till that money is in the bank, it's not there.
Yeah.
And we found out with one of those 2 accounts that we celebrated, they didn't pay their bill. So, I mean, it's like, holy, like this is way harder than what I thought it was working for the other guys. So what I should mention too is that when I started my business, 25 years old, not really confident to use my last name as the brand. So today it's Reed Security. But in the year 2000, we actually had a numbered company, and we represented another company as a dealer. So I don't know if anyone's familiar with the dealer model, but you know, we represented another company doing sales and installations of their products.
Yeah.
So the third thing that I learned with my experience in being an entrepreneur is you have to be very careful who you partner with and which brand you represent. And again, just because somebody portrays themselves as one thing, and you know, you do all your diligence, you look into who they are.
Yeah.
You know, it really taught me how to trust but verify a lot of the things that people say. And I can tell you this, I mean, I can tell the story now confidently, but for the next 4 years, it was hell.
Yeah.
We didn't control the cash. The other company controlled the cash. The promises that they made to us as dealers, it didn't come through. They made a lot of promises and didn't deliver. So at that point, I learned a lot of things that you shouldn't do. So in the year 2004, that's really where things changed for me. So at that point, you know, we're probably just 4 employees, small. In the year 2004, I made the choice, well, I have to distance myself from a bad relationship. And I was going to do it at all costs to keep my dream alive. And what that just meant was, you know, sometimes nobody likes to say it, but you got to meet with the lawyer. Now the lawyer in this case, he didn't really have to do very much because the company let themselves down. It gave me an opportunity to just rebrand myself and start fresh. So thankfully, I did not have to pull the plug. You know, the financial situation, as you can imagine, if you're not doing very well, that could be a time where people do have a redo, right, financially. Yeah. But in this case, I didn't have to. I had lots of good commercial clients, and we always took care of them no matter what promises were made at the company that we represented. We made sure we delivered to our Saskatoon customers. They would never know the difference. We were the ones who took that burden off of them. Yeah. So in 2004, I decided, you know what, I've already signed up 1,000 people. Like literally, it was pretty good. I have the confidence now to change the name of the company and grow the brand. And so that's in 2004. Reed Security is where you would start seeing all the signs and stickers that you see today. So I guess that's the turning point, 2004. I didn't know it at the time, but you know, that's when it all started happening for us.
So 10 years later, now 2014, Reed Security is doing fantastic in the city. I know that, and I'll let you kind of tell the story, that you're now branching out into some other areas. You cut your dealer business, now you got to start basically from scratch. You got your Reed Security, you're developing your own products, your own service, how you're going to be developing it. How many employees do you have now?
We're still pretty small. There's 14 now.
That's not small. That's good.
Yeah.
I love the beauty about Saskatchewan is we're all like, you know, it's okay. 14 employees is good, and it's a fantastic business. You win Sabex awards. Like, I eat toast. Every time I come to that Sabex awards, like Reed Security, I'm like, good Lord, really, Reed Security? You can't be that good. And then I met you, and I'm like, yeah, he isn't. I'm just kidding. Then again, I thought you were a blues band, so I was really disappointed. But, so going back now, 2014, you just started rebranding. It's Reed Security. You got your own products. You had to make some tough decisions. You let some people go. Did it just instantly happen for you? Did it keep going, or was there some more struggles? No, going back to 2004, again, for 4 years,
we had our advertising. So, I mean, like people would sign up with us. It's just, you know, you'd get questions like, who are you? Like, what happens if you go out of business? Like, there's a lot of things when you're getting people to sign up for monitoring agreements, you know. Security business is similar to cell phones, right? So, I mean, you got to sign that 2 or 3 year deal. The whole security business is signing up 3 to 5 year deals. So there was a lot of objections. But you know what? We have good values and we have integrity. And we, you know, at that time we didn't know as many people as we do today. But I mean, the values of 2004 are the same values of 2014. And it's just good. Tell it like it is. Yeah. It's, if you can tell people how it is, that's where we found the most success, and then delivering on what you say.
Yeah.
So, you know, along the lines, it really, like 2004 was a rebuild year. And imagine this. I don't know if anyone in this room has had this, but can you imagine as you go to your accountant and he looks at your books and he says, you know, some people have a dream, but I'm here to tell you, sometimes you just got to let the dream go. That's what my accountant told me. Yeah. You know what I said to him? I'm going to find a new accountant.
Yeah.
And I did. So, I mean, he was right. I mean, based on what you saw on a pure numbers point of view, he was accurate. But on a determination point of view, nothing's really going to stop me. So, you know, over the next, I guess really 2007 would have been another turning point. So, that's, you know, you mentioned all these different awards. So, I mean, that's intentional. So, I mean, part of our strategy was, you know what, if we're doing something good, why aren't we telling people about it?
Yeah, exactly.
And, you know, if I believe, you know, we've gone from nothing to at least some level of stability, people should hear about that, and I feel comfortable about that. So, I mean, as a humble person, it's hard to tell people how great you are.
Yeah.
But really, part of the strategy was, well, let's tell people about what we're doing. And, you know, I actually counted, so since 2007, there's been 19 recognitions.
Yeah.
So,
that's good.
Well, thank you. So with those recognitions, you know, they range from small business to customer service to quality management to young entrepreneur. And I mean, all of them apply at different times. But I can tell you that it has made a big difference to people giving us a chance. And so what I can tell you today, 2014, we're busier than ever. You know, we've got lots of customers now, several thousand within Saskatoon and Prince Albert area, that kind of stuff. One of the nice things that's happened though, as you've grown your business and created a brand, is that we regularly get phone calls from people offering to buy our business. So, I mean, I'm still a young guy, I'm 40 years old, I don't have any intentions to sell it. But you get several inquiries about, hey, do you sell franchises, right? Mm-hmm. Or, hey, have you ever thought about partnering with somebody and opening a branch in a different location? And so, most of the time I would say, well, I'm flattered, but really, I'm busting my ass just trying to keep up in this market. I would love to help you. I'd like to meet you, you know, screen them, but it just wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
And so last year was a difference maker. It was another turning point for us. So finally, we had some guys from the Prince Albert area who had contacted us with the same thing. Do you sell franchises, right? I said no, but after talking to them, these are gentlemen that had some extensive experience within the security industry. So with that, you know, I decided, well, I guess we could meet and it's not going to hurt, which became the next 30 days of very hard due diligence and investigating everything about that market. So what I can tell you now is as of October of last year, you know, I told you the story about what a pain in the ass it was to be a dealer for somebody.
Yeah, oh yeah.
We created our own dealer program.
That'll teach them.
Yeah. So, but this time around, I'm taking those things that I feel that we were let down on, and instead what we're doing is we're just telling it how it is and being transparent with our dealer, and it's working out very, very well. So now, I mean, it's only been 8 months, you know, we're not really hard advertising that we have a dealer program, but inquiries from Alberta, BC, Ontario, Salt Lake City, Utah. I mean, the power of the
That's cool,
internet.
yeah, that's cool.
So, things are looking very good. We found a method to expand our brand outside of Saskatoon.
Big competitor. You're coming in the game, which is a great Saskatchewan story. The young guy coming in, he's got nothing but determination and a dream. You're going against a big competitor. How have you kind of waded through those waters?
All right. So you hit the nail on the head. That is really hard, and it could be even really stupid.
Yeah.
Because it's what you said. There's a lot of advantages that SaskTel has. And I used to complain a lot about it. In fact, I phoned to John Gormley once because Vince, it wasn't Virgil, it was Vince who called in. Vince really didn't like.
Vince could be a great blues band too. Vince and the Securities.
Well, Virgil's a well-recognized name.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
there's
fair,
not too
yeah.
many of them, so
There's
they
not,
know
yeah.
what phoning in, right? It came down to complaining about it or just saying I don't care about it.
Yeah.
And really it's becoming a leader, and so there's a few things that I did to make myself different. So, you know what, one weakness is that they don't really keep a scheduled appointment, or they can't tell you what time they're coming, right? And that's common with a lot of services, but I figured, well, why can't we just show up on time? Like, how hard is it to drive from here to there and show up and do what you said? And so that's one thing that we really pride ourselves on, is showing up and making a commitment to people.
Yeah.
The other thing, one thing that we're known for, the thing that really got us off the ground, is that I decided, well, since I have a knowledge of dealer programs and what they can do and what they can't do, the dealer's restricted, I figured, well, let's just be really different and go right after that. And so that's where I started the $5 a month promotion. So if you're not familiar with it, I'm not here to sell you anything just yet. But I decided, our wholesale rate to pay for monitoring is $5 a month, and why don't we just tell people we'll give you the first year at the wholesale rate to give us a try? And so now about 4,000 people took advantage of that promotion.
That's cool.
Okay, so after the first year, the rates are $20 a month. So, we ought to make money. We can't just not make money, but we're willing to do this for you. So by providing value to people who are considering, it was just a matter of time to show them, well, you can also get the service too. So that formula has really powered our growth. Okay, so that was the first thing, was creating a unique selling proposition. Now the next thing that really made a difference to us is that we're pretty smart when it comes to doing custom security for businesses. So I've attracted a lot of good people, and I have a background doing commercial security. But that's another thing that really made a difference. We could have two different businesses in one. We could have our monitoring business, and we can have our commercial integration business. And so, now we do a couple $1 million a year in commercial integration business. So, whether that's wanting to use a swipe card system to unlock doors, whether that's just a basic alarm system, whether you need a smart camera that detects people's faces or license plates, that's the kind of stuff we got into. That's where it's at. High definition video, that's, everyone here watches TV on some level, so you can either watch the blurry channels, or you can pay the extra and get the nice clear channels, the high def channels. And that's what happened with video cameras, high def video.
That's cool.
So, combination of determination, hard work, good values, and product, you're starting to see the success. You're growing your business. Where do you see the future of Breed Security?
That is a great question. So, to begin with, we're taking over the space next door to us, and we're doubling our size next month. So, that's a risk. You get to double your overhead and be prepared to go from 14 staff potentially to 20 in the next 2 years. I don't see it being much bigger than that unless we diversify it into something completely new. So I think, just continuing to do the things that we do within Saskatoon. But what I do see happening is that due to being a little bit more popular with our branding, I can see us being in different cities through dealers. So, I don't want to announce what city, but we're pretty close to having an Alberta dealer next. So, You know, if I can get 6 people that think like I do and share the values that I do, I will work with those people. So with that, you know, I should mention here, the biggest thing that was lacking with the dealer program that we were part of on the dealer side is that just a lot of smoke and mirrors and promises, but not a lot of leadership and training and coaching. And I can tell you that I talk to our dealers twice a week for an hour. I will hold their hand and I will quote the jobs with them, and I will send guys from Saskatoon to help install them.
Cool.
So, you know, as far as I'm concerned, that's our brand and we will protect it.
Yeah.
So that's what I see.
Well, Virgil, or as John Gormley knows you, Vince. Virgil Reed, really appreciate it, man. It's good to get to know you and your business. It's a really another cool Saskatchewan story. I know your wife's from North Battleford. You're from a small town just by Regina, so this is Saskatchewan. We couldn't get more Saskatchewan than that, really. So thanks for coming. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.